Look.
Listen.
All right. It is episode 23 of Look, Listen with Geese and Guyera. I just want to say that. I want to say that this is a podcast with Geese and Guyera, and I am Guyera, and we talk about Pokemon and other things. And guess what today is? It's the St. Patrick's Day special.
I'm Geese.
Yes, that's Geese too. Okay. Geese, where to begin? Because there's probably a lot we got to cover. As you may recall last week, I was very sick. Turns out, incredibly sick. But here's the thing, Clambo. I've got as bees, the luckiest boy in the whole world, because I have been complaining. I have been bringing up for so long, these release dates of video games. God of War right before Pokemon. How am I possibly going to beat God of War before Pokemon? So coronavirus says, I got your back. I'm going to get you sick right before God of War comes out. And that's exactly what it does. And I just beat God of War a couple minutes ago. So congratulations, everyone. We did it.
Good job,
Mission
everyone.
accomplished. And hey, by the day this episode goes up is launch day for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So
are you going to get COVID again for that?
We'll see. I'm fine either way. I'm going to test again tomorrow and see what it says. If it says negative, I'll go to work. If it says positive, I'll play Pokemon. Our podcast goes live on Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific. Geese, why don't you... Oh, goodness. Your list looks kind of barren. All right. Geese, let me tell you what I've been doing this week. Okay. In my watching segment, I was all excited to watch Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. But unfortunately... you're not allowed to go to the movies if you got my illness. So I have not seen that, but I have watched a show on Apple TV. It is called Pachinko. Pachinko is very, very good. I love any sort of media that takes you across generations and shows you people at different points in their lives.
Is it based on the book?
Oh, there's a book called Pachinko? Then yes. It's about Koreans living in Japan. Yes.
Then yep, sounds like it. My mom read that book.
One of my favorite things about it is, and God, I hope we see a brighter future where everybody is watching entertainment, experiencing entertainment in languages.
I thought you were gonna say a brighter future where people are not discriminated against. I thought you were gonna talk about like Koreans living in Japan.
Yeah, that'd be nice too. But no, I was gonna say, I want people, just like what was said at the Oscars, the year Parasite won, all people got to do is overcome a little bit of text at the bottom of the screen and their horizons widen to unforeseeable amounts, a lot.
Well
so here's
said.
the thing. Yeah, no, not well said at the end. It kind of fell apart there. But what I'm trying to say is it's so sick because it's in multiple languages. So what they do is they give you the subtitles color-coded. So yellow, you're hearing Korean. Blue, you're hearing Japanese. White, you're hearing English. Now, I can tell the difference between Korean and Japanese, so that's not a huge deal, but it's very cool, very sick for anybody watching a program, having multiple languages, because that's real life, Geese. People speak multiple languages all the time, and we should be able to experience that. I don't know, Geese. I don't know. Talk me out of it, because I'm a big... in fact, the entire idea of dubs can be bad, actually. But I know there's some people who, maybe for accessibility reasons, disability reasons, they just can't do subtitles, so they need something to be dubbed. But it just takes so much away. It's not the actual product you're watching.
Yeah.
Even, Geese, you're playing games is still Fortnite and cat soup.
Guyera?
Yes, Geese. What? Can I help you?
Do
you have something to say?
Literally every single day, regardless
the
of
rest
it's
of your
a weekend
life.
or not, every single day, I get up, I have my coffee, I grade papers for 6 hours, and then I'm so tired, I do my own work, and then I play Fortnite, and that's what my reality has been for the past 2 weeks, and will be for the future 2 weeks.
Oh my God. Sounds very exciting. Black-eyed Junko. Okay, Geese, let me talk to you about God of War Ragnarok. I played it. shortly after we spoke last week, I guess that was a Monday, right?
Mm-hmm.
When is it in a Monday? So I started playing it Tuesday night. God, that game is longer than I expected. It's a very good video game. It is not as good as God of War 2018, and that is mainly because the writing and dialogue sometimes leave something to be desired. It felt like 2018 had a more cohesive tone in how people spoke to one another. You can tell they hired a lot of new writers on this one because half the dialogue just sounds like human beings in the United States in 2022 speaking to each other, and it takes me out of it. It's too bad. But the story's still all right. It subverts my expectations, which I am happy with. That I was able to be surprised a couple times in the game. Combat's a ton of fun, and that's why most people play video games. And once again, I cannot stress enough how relieved I am that I beat this game before pokes, and I didn't even get spoiled on anything, which I couldn't even do that for the first one. Those YouTube thumbnails were showing off the final boss of 2018 the day it came out. Very frustrating.
Yeah, I was watching Kayla play it, and it looks really fun. It looks pretty too.
It looks okay.
Wow.
Well, I took a sip of water. I was going to continue. Somebody had a tweet about this, and I completely agree. It looks amazing for a PS4 game. And it's on PS4 as well as PS5. I really wish it was just a PS5 game, though. I feel like they could have done more with it. Like, you see even frustrating design in the environment of so many times you're slowly going through like a crack in the wall or sidling across something. And that's all to hide the load times on PS4. But it's completely unnecessary for PS5 because you got the SSD. It can load it immediately. So it's just hurting us because the PS4 people, but it's fine. It's funny you mentioned Kayla because there's shots in that game where one of the characters looks exactly like Kayla, and it threw me for a loop a couple times. Kayla is Dan Reichert's sister. If anybody doesn't know, I don't know who all listens to this.
Team Kayla on Twitch.
On Twitch. Shout out. Geese, is there anything else on your list you would like to mention before I tell you what I ate?
Well, when I'm not working, I sometimes have time to look outside the window and
yeah, a little house on the prairie over here. Sometimes I look out the window.
I've just, I've noticed that the black-eyed Junkos are back, which is pretty exciting.
Junko. Sounds Japanese.
Also, Guyera in Fortnite. You missed it.
Oh,
you missed it. There was this great cyber rave dance in the store. Do you ever like seeing that video of a bunch of like cyber goths dancing
where they're under the bridge?
Yeah, yes, it's that dance. It's so good.
Wait, let me see if I can remember what that's called. Isn't that called not hardcore, but gunmetal? What is it? Industrial? Is that what it's called?
I don't know, but the emote is called infectious. So maybe it's infectious?
I thought it was like industrial something or other. Grunge. I can't remember. Yes.
Regardless, we look so sick with the squad all doing the dance.
Oh, that's pretty good.
It's so good.
Well, these video games, I mean, it takes a little bit of time to put 40 hours into a game, Geese. I'd venture to say almost 40 hours.
Is that why we haven't seen you, or I haven't seen you other than this podcast for the past, 3 weeks?
3 weeks? It has been 3 weeks. But I have been very busy with God of War. That takes up all my spare time. And Pokemon's about to take up every other second of my spare time, so enjoy me while you got me. Oh, one more thing I wanted to say about God of War. I also saw tweets about this one, and I posted it in the Discord. People doing the meme of the little kid in the class. He's like trying not to explode, and the veins on his head.
Yeah.
And it showed that picture. It said, God of War Ragnarok NPC when you take more than 2 seconds to solve a puzzle. And it is, oh my goodness gracious. Apparently Horizon Forbidden West had this problem too. But Sony, calm down. Give me 1 second to solve the puzzle. I promise I'll do it. If I need you, I'll stand still and then you can try and help. I don't know how many times I screamed at the TV as I'm lining up the perfect solution to a puzzle, and the NPC says, "Hey, why don't you throw your axe over there and I can shoot my arrow?" And I go, "Yes, I know. What do you think I'm doing?" And it's just, what's the point of putting in a puzzle if they're just like, press this button to solve the puzzle? Enough of that. It's a good game. It's a good video game. Geese, let me take you down the journey of my food experience. I was sick. You knew I was sick. I thought, oh, makes sense. In big concert, that makes sense. You get sick. Geese, it wasn't until, do you remember what night this was when I told you, oh God, my pad thai? I don't remember what night that was. It was a few nights ago. I ordered my delicious pad thai, delicious as usual. I took my chopsticks in my hands, Geese, and I put the noodles in my mouth. And I said, oh man, the pad thai's not very good today. Doesn't even taste like anything. And then I kept taking bites and I went, oh no. At that point, I went to my little bottle of cedar, like they give you for like to get rid of moths. They have these little bottles of cedar oil. And I unscrewed the lid and sniffed the bottle of cedar and I smelled nothing. And I went, oh no. So then I went to the lavender oil and also smelled nothing. And then I went, oh, okay. So I very much do have this coronavirus. That's never happened to me before. I've never not been able to taste and smell. It was scary, a little liberating because my sense of smell is incredible. So that means when I smell bad things, it's 100 times worse. And I call it a curse.
I thought you were gonna like tell me that you like ate a bunch of gross but like healthy food.
I got peanut butter sandwiches. just because I know Dan can't taste very well. He's always going on about how he can't smell anything, but he loves peanut butter sandwiches in the last Fire Escape. So I said, okay, if he can't taste anything, but he likes peanut butter sandwiches, I'll try that. So I ate a bunch of those and then I decided, okay, I'm really getting sick of not being able to taste anything. So as a treat, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just get a bunch of peppers and put them all in my mouth and see if I can feel alive. Turns out you can still feel spice, Geese, in your mouth, even if you can't taste anything. And it was the best thing I could have done because the next day I wake up and I can taste things again. And I immediately order a big giant Prince Street pizza, which was delicious. It didn't have marinara sauce though. I should have picked the other pizza. I thought it would come with some, but I got the 4 cheese, still good, but I would like some marinara sauce and not just cheese.
Must be nice to have good food.
Yeah, it is not. And I think on here I discussed this place before, how I missed the opportunity for the $20 off coupon on Uber Eats, but it came back. So that's the main reason I got it. Very exciting. I ordered so much stuff on Amazon because normally I just get toilet paper from work, but since I'm not going to work, I had to order toilet paper on Amazon, and the cheapest toilet paper was this roll scented vanilla something or other. So at first I didn't smell anything, but then, yeah, it's gross, but it was so cheap. But now I smell it big time. So that was another indicator that my smell came back. And that is the story of my smell and taste, Geese. I mean, eat. That's the story of my eating and looking, watching, playing, eating, goofing.
Man.
Did you? Yes, Geese.
I miss food.
Well,
every night we either have pasta or hamburgers, and that's it.
And it's homemade hamburgers?
Yeah.
Oh, not even just a little bit of dongle?
My parents
she shook her head no.
Out.
I remember, and they would never order delivery. You gotta have a stern talking to with them. Say, listen, either we're getting dongles or I'm leaving. You put all your stuff in a little bag and tie it to a stick and walk out the front door.
Brindle or whatever it's called.
Oh my god. Yeah, I couldn't deal with no delicious food. I don't know how I dealt with it for the few days I couldn't eat anything or taste anything.
I have been craving pierogis for the past month.
Pierogis?
I want pierogis so bad.
Geese, can you say pierogis further away from the mic?
Pierogis.
Here's what it sounds like. Pierogis.
Okay, sorry. I turned the gain down, so I don't know how close to be to my microphone.
If you turn gain down, well, it unless you have a pop filter, the P's are going to be trouble. So you got to go like pierogis. Pierogis.
I'm so tired. I work all day. I can't even eat pierogis.
I
This
do
is
like
the only
pierogies.
time I see Guyera now. The only time you'll hang out with me is through this podcast.
Were you about to say the F word?
Yep.
After Pokemon, I'll have more free time, probably. With Pokemon, it's not like a huge narrative thing, so I could probably play Pokemon and get in a call too, for the most part. I'm thinking. Should be fine. Geese, I haven't had pierogies in years. There's never really any place that sold them consistently that I knew of around me at any point. They had them at the
I
Renaissance Festival.
can imagine the places where you lived have like a huge like Polish population.
Well, you'd be surprised because kolaches, those are Polish and those are huge in Houston. Every single donut place sells kolaches. That's a big part of their Houston culture. Maybe I was just not looking in the right places. Well, Geese, why don't we pep you up with some exciting Poco news of the week? I see you wrote something in here, which, yeah, with Scarlet and Violet, I didn't even. We'll start with
tell
Geese.
the story what my dad said today.
Certainly.
So I was telling my dad that I was getting ready for the podcast today, and he asked me, it was like, are you going to talk about celebrating Ash's 25 years as a champion? And I was like, how do you even know about that?
You know he watches the anime in Japanese.
Oh yeah, of course. It's just like, I know everything. So my dad's a big fan.
Shouts out.
I guess. Shouts out.
Yeah, so Ash did it. He is the greatest trainer on the face of the planet. He has defeated all other champions in a giant tournament of champions. Champion being, of course, the best trainer in a region, what have you. And this isn't spoilers. It could still be considered a spoiler to people, but the official Pokemon Twitter account tweeted it out right after it happened on the anime in Japan. And they knew it was going to leak is the wrong word, but they knew that news was going to get out of what happened in the anime. So they got out ahead of it and said, Ash did it. He's the greatest in the world. So there is a lot of speculation now as to, well, what does this mean for the anime? Are we going to have a new protagonist? Because how's Ash just going to go to the new region and just be fighting little gym leaders as the greatest trainer of all time? They do reset him a lot. There's
always new trainers and champions, right?
Yeah.
I hope they don't replace Ash.
Yeah, I mean, people do. Sun and Moon felt like a pretty big reboot, so I guess they could just reboot again. Who's to say? I certainly don't know. But I'm looking forward to whatever they have in store for us. In fact, the episode we watched today, oh, by the way, it's St. Patrick's Day special.
Oh, yeah, by the way.
We're going to talk about luck, I guess. And so the episode we picked today is called The Good, the Bad, and the Lucky. And it revolves around Team Rocket and has a theme of luck in it. This episode is a pretty recent episode, meaning it aired, I think, this year. So it felt like a big send-off for them. Yeah, I'm very curious as to what the anime plans are.
Yeah, it was really interesting watching it.
I have seen little clips, little images of the finale they aired, the big championship battle where Ash wins, and it was very cute because Team Rocket is in the stands cheering for Pikachu, and they said that's our Pikachu, so very cute. It looks like they may become friends or something. Oh, okay. But yeah, that's the anime news. I was about to say, we don't talk about anime here. That's precisely what we do. And Geese, the last time we spoke, Scarlet and Violet was beginning to leak, and I told you we knew some evolutions of the starters. As of this point, Geese, the game is completely broken open, completely data mined. Tons of people have downloaded it. Tons of people have beaten it. They've hacked in every single Pokemon, every single shiny form of every Pokemon. So I know everything there is to know about Scarlet and Violet. Now, with me and a lot of other people, we don't really care about story spoilers. We just need to know all the new Pokemon so we can plan out our team. I have my team planned out. Would you like to see my team, or do you not like getting spoiled on new designs or something?
I could care Curse word. Less about spoilers when it comes to Pokemon.
Oh my god.
Show me your team. Do you have pictures of everyone?
Yeah, I prepared a little thing.
Oh, good. Good job.
Good job. Let me do it on my phone. It'll be way easier. So I like to, of course, have a team that is balanced in terms of typing. So you have coverage for any battle. But what's also very important to me is, do I like the design? Because I don't go into these games thinking, oh, who's the absolute strongest and who's going to be the best. No. I find which Pokemon speak to me design-wise. And of course, they have to have a good type coverage. And so this is my sending you what my team is now. And then if we discuss this, we will tell Clambos not interested in spoilers to skip ahead just a little bit. Okay, any questions, Geese, you have about these Pokemon you're looking at? And Clambos, please skip ahead a couple minutes if you don't want to hear anything about new Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet.
Okay, so one of these Pokemon looks like another Pokemon.
Let's see if I can guess who you think. Do you think that guy looks like Vikavolt?
No, I meant like Tentacruel.
Oh, okay. Right.
Is
So
that
that's
like the origin, like evolution, whatever Pokemon?
So there are 3 different things happening in this game that kind of have echoes of each other. There's 2 types of Paradox Pokemon, Ancient and Future Paradox, and they all have very interesting names. You know how like it was super weird in Sun and Moon for them to name Pokemon's Tapu Koko, Tapu Lele? They go wild in this game where the ancient Pokemon all just have descriptive names. It's like adjective noun. And they're all they all look like normal Pokemon we know, but it's like ancient wings or screaming tail are the literal names of these Pokemon. And unfortunately, all the Violet Pokemon, all the future Pokemon are just called Iron. So it's Iron Tail or Iron Fists or something. So those names aren't as
So
exciting.
they're all like warrior cat names.
Yeah. Now, what this Tentacruel you're looking at, whose name is Toadscruel, he's not Paradox. He's you'll remember we discussed this earlier, he's convergent evolution. So the Wiglet. He's a sort of like a Wiglet. So he looks like a Tentacool because they evolved in the same area, so they look the same, but he's not
They evolved
Paradox.
in the same ecological niche.
Yes, exactly.
Like an armadillo and a pangolin.
Exactly.
Is this Electric Dragon the motorcycle one?
Yes, he is the box legendary Miraidon, since I'm playing Violet as my main game. Now, the thing is, I'm not going to be able to play as him until the very, very end of the game. So that means I'm actually going to probably have to find a different team member until I can play as him. And that's to be decided. But this will be my final team at the end of the game.
I think my favorite is Tinkaton.
Yeah, she's a cutie.
Is that a gun hammer?
It's a giant hammer. Tinkaton's very amusing because what they've done recently in Pokemon, which I appreciate so much the last couple generations, is when they introduce a new Pokemon, they also establish its relationship with species from other regions that originate in other regions. So you have these like adversarial or some species really get along. And this little Pokemon absolutely hates Corviknight from Generation 8. Corviknight is this big steel bird that flies the people around Galar, so the England equivalent.
Sword and Shield.
Yeah, Sword and Shield. Corviknight flies people around in these little things in the sky, but Corviknight cannot fly people around in taxis in Scarlet and Violet, all because of Tinkaton. Because if Tinkaton sees a Corviknight, it will destroy it and throw its hammer into the sky because they hate Corviknight so much. Very amusing. I really like Ceruledge. He was announced early on in the...
I like how much it looks like a human.
No, Geese, he looks like a Magman Battle Network creature.
So I'm guessing this is the evolved form of the Quack, the duck one?
The Quackster. You're going to make me nickname him the Quack. Yes, that is the evolution of Quaxley.
No, you should name him Launchpad.
Quack. Oh, that's good. All right, Geese, is there anything else on Poke News? I mean, I could go on for hours about all the new mechanics they added. Hatching's way easier these days, hatching eggs, and shiny hunting's pretty good because we can see the shinies in the overworld. They took out the little sound a shiny makes from Legends Arceus, which is not good, but at least if you do auto battle, your Pokemon will not knock out a shiny, which is very convenient. And then, yeah, we'll have much more to say after Pokemon comes out, and I can just let you know what's going on in my game, what I'm doing with everybody in the Discord. We're going to be having to play Pokemon together. There's actually a Pokemon, it was the last one for them to figure out how to evolve, the dolphin Pokemon. He's the goofiest looking Pokemon in the world, Geese. He turns this big
what's
hero.
His name?
His evolution is called, it's like Paladin, but they switch a letter, so it's like Finidin or Palafin. Yeah, that's what it is, Palafin. Because he's a paladin, but he's got dolphin. But the only way to evolve him is you have to be playing with a friend. And your friend has to watch the dolphin battle, and then he can evolve. And the weird thing about it is when you just regular evolve, you look identical to the previous form, but you have a heart on your chest. But if you throw out Palafin and then switch to another Pokemon and then switch back to Palafin, he'll turn into his big buff form where he's just giant dolphin superhero, and he's amusing looking. Oh, Geese is doing a very disgusted face. I guess she doesn't like Palafin. Sorry, Palafin. Don't take it personal.
Okay, bye.
Wait, what if someone wanted to listen to an ad break?
Please enjoy this commercial break.
Please.
Guyera, I'm having a breakdown.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna go have a breakdown and pee. BRB. Okay.
Be right back. Do you realize they just introduced chili fries at Whataburger? I can't believe it.
I'm gonna have a breakdown.
Isn't that good though? Why?
A good breakdown.
Oh, okay, good. As long as it's good, you have all the breakdowns you need. I encourage them if they're good.
Hold on, I just have to build another chopping radishes station for my cats real quick.
What would those cats do without you? Dun, 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 boo, dun, dun, dun.
I'm sick of these cats. I keep getting the worst cats.
Geese, no cats are bad. All cats are great. So in God of War, I did all the big side quests. There's still some little cleanup stuff I gotta do. So 40 hours is to beat the game and do all the big side quests. I think I have more time on my hands than I thought I would, so I may try to get a platinum trophy before Pokemon comes out, but I do not think I will be successful. But I will try.
What do you need to do to get platinum?
I haven't actually looked at the list, but I'm sure it's just find all the little chests, find all the little ravens, do the little optional little tiny mini boss battles. It sounds like, I guess that's spoilers, but it sounds like there's a big final boss that's going to be tougher than the final boss. The final boss actually was not difficult in this game, which was fine by me because I was just at the end there. I could have spent more time doing little side quests, but I said, I have got to beat this game. And it wasn't as bad as Last of Us 2, but man, it does go on for quite a while. So just collectibles and doing little side mini bosses. And I'm sure that'll give me the platinum. I'm so glad that video games these days are all about non-missable trophies, because clearly if you design a video game with trophies in it that you can just easily miss, or miss it all, honestly, you don't care about achievements and trophies, and you don't care about your players that care about them. If you force them to start the game completely over, and I understand there's like difficulty related trophies, but even that's kind of fallen out of favor. There's no difficulty trophies at all. So you could play this game on easy if you wanted and still get everything, get all the trophies. But it's such a relief to see that, because I'll always look that up before playing a game. I like to just enjoy a video game. So I don't like having a trophy list as I'm playing through it the first time, but I do like to see, are there any missable trophies? And if so, I'll plan around it. Geese, why don't you ask me some St. Patrick's Day questions for the St. Patrick's Day special? And of course, we're all dressed up like leprechauns, like we do every week.
Yeah, in fact, Guyera has a beard right now.
Well, since I haven't gone to work in a week, there's not much reason to shave.
I think you should keep it.
I used to have a big old giant beard, but no more.
That's in the past. I had a dream this morning that Aaron shaved his beard, and I was so mad at him, and I woke up mad at him.
You texted, why did you shave your beard in my dream?
I did. That's exactly what I did.
Classic. Way to go,
All
Aaron.
right. Here's your question.
Calambos, get ready. We got St. Patrick's Day questions.
Are you Irish?
Probably. I can look up my genetic profile. I'm sure there's Irish there. There's certainly English and Northern European, like those goofy Swedes and Nords and whatnot. Hey, like God of War. And German, just European mutt. Geese, do you believe in luck?
Yes.
I love that specific amount of time you thought about it. Just perfectly dramatic.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay, here's a better question. What is your definition of luck, this thing you believe exists?
Just like against all odds, like things working out for you based on like no effort on your own end.
You believe in something supernatural about it?
I don't know. I feel like I've been lucky in many ways.
So do I. I've always felt, because I'm always like winning raffles and things. But one thing that people fail to realize, and this is probably going to go way deeper than I intend it to, but you see this a lot in religious people or people who are like big into astrology. They really don't sit there and consider the billions and trillions of instances of things that are happening every single second. Okay, what I mean by that is everything around you, everyone around you, everything that's said, everything that's happening in the world around you creates your reality. And when something unusual happens, you go, oh my goodness, this is crazy, or this is unique. Oh, wow, I can't believe that this actually happened. And it seems like they're not thinking about, well, if you consider the statistics of things that can happen, the idea of something quote unquote unusual happening is likely to happen so much more. I can tell already my wording is getting confusing. What I'm trying to say is if weird things did not happen, that would be more crazy. If everything was always monotonous and nothing ever changed, because of the number of things that are happening that people don't consider because they just think about in terms of their little world and not the billions of things that every human being, every animal, every conversation, everything that leads to everything around them happening. Our memory is very guilty for why this happens because we remember memorable things. So when things are the same, we don't save that information because it's not important. So we remember all these times we were quote unquote lucky, when just think of every time you weren't lucky, you were unlucky, but you don't remember them, if that makes sense. Perception is different than reality with the whole idea of luck, I think.
Well, yeah, that's like inherent to the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I win lots of raffles, so I'm real lucky.
Oh, God. I guess because you don't drink, you don't have any like crazy St. Patrick's Day stories, do you?
I can't say I've ever celebrated Saint Patrick Day in any way at all, other than when I was a kid.
I haven't either. And I'm Irish.
Yeah, great.
Thanks for asking, by the way.
You're welcome. Yes, I've never had alcohol, and it's come up recently. In my life, I feel like it's come up less often than I thought it might, since alcohol is such a large part of culture. But I'd be so terrified to have alcohol at this point in my life, because just think about people. I'd be so terrified of not being in control of my actions. But young people, like 21-year-olds or younger, drinking for the first time and, behaving not like they normally would, that's very easily forgiven because they're young. Imagine somebody in their 30s just drinking for the first time. You would not get the same lenience if because the thing is, I know so many people who I hate when they drink. Like their personalities are terrible. So I would not want to become just a bad version of myself. So alcohol has no interest whatsoever in it. And I like keeping up the streak of never having it. That's neat.
I think that's fair.
If I was going to die in a week, I may go I guess I'll just see.
I feel like as a woman, especially as someone who's like also like the person who has to take care of everyone when they're drunk, I can count only like one time where I've been actually drunk and not all in the right mind space. When you go out, you have to be like very vigilant about your surroundings, especially as a woman. When you're in the position where like the mom in the group, you have to take care of all of your friends and they get to let loose and not have to care about themselves. And that's really annoying.
Very frustrating. It runs the gamut from people either being mean when they drink or just being incredibly obnoxious and not fun to be around. Maybe if everybody's drinking, they don't notice it in each other. That being said, didn't we have this conversation before where I said I recognize the importance of alcohol in our social structure? I don't think we would have accomplished what we have as a species without it. There's a lot of people alive today because of alcohol, because I feel like it lowers inhibitions for people and they form connections they wouldn't have formed otherwise.
Yeah, alcohol has a very rich cultural history.
When water wasn't safe.
Yeah, beer, for example, invented the same time that bread was.
Makes sense.
Very long, interesting history. I remember in college learning the materialist perspective of alcohol. It's very interesting. Anyway, Pokemon.
Oh, is it Pokemon time? Pokemon time!
All right. The episode is in Pokemon Ultimate Journeys. And in English, it's The Good, the Bad, and the Lucky. And in Japanese...
It's funny. I think in Japanese, they just keep the series name. But in English, for some reason, I'm sure it has to do with money. But they separate these series into a bunch of different names. There's like Ultimate Journeys and Crazy Journeys and Master Journeys. In Japanese, the title is Saraba, Sarusai no Roketto-dan. Farewell, the Wandering Team Rocket. Geese, let's get into this very recent episode of Pokemon. In Japanese, it's episode number 95 of Journeys. We open with Jessie and Wobbuffet walking in the desert. Geese, they think this is the end. They think they're gonna die. Is this our fate, is what they say. And then, Geese, we cut to 1 week earlier. It says they're in Kuchiba City. Geese, I'm going to be honest. This season, they jump all around the world, like all the different regions. I don't know what region this takes place in. Do you?
They're in Vermilion City.
Oh, that's Kanto. Okay.
Also,
now I have... Yes?
Are they making like glue, like Magikarp glue things?
It does kind of look like a container of glue. It's these plastic bottles that look like Magikarp. I don't know if they're all the same size, but they're screwing on little red lids, little red caps for all these Magikarp plastic containers. I'm surprised in English they didn't make it clear, but kind of looks like a glue container.
It's also so interesting because it's like, I guess we're not in a post-scarcity society.
Because we have factories making this.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, as mentioned before, I don't think they expect you to think that hard about it. In the way this works.
I'm sorry, I want to assess the political economy of Pokemon.
We can assess. We can be like Jaden Smith. All right. Team Rocket is in the factory, Geese, and they hate their job. Oh my God. They can't. For people who work so many jobs.
I thought they were going to do like a I Love Lucy like thing with the like conveyor belt. Kind of disappointed that it didn't go that direction.
Yeah, they can't keep up with the workload, so they keep shoving Magikarp in their mouth. So they're screwing little caps on little Magikarp containers, and then we cut to Ash and Go. Go is the, what would you call it, companion for Pokemon Journeys? Okay, so Pikachu's hanging out in front of the Team Rocket factory. Ash and Go walk up to it.
Okay, what does the voice actor in Japanese sound like for Go? Because like the English voice actor is like very I don't like it.
I would just say not memorable. I couldn't tell you. Just sound like normal Japanese voice. What does he sound like in English?
Does not sound at all young.
Oh, yeah, that's a problem with this anime. I'm going to bring up a character later where it happens again. Just like Ash's mother, I think what they do is they hire somebody in 1996 and then they just let him keep the job. even though it's not 1996 anymore, Geese. And I'm not trying to be ageist. I'm just saying, if the voice actor doesn't sound like the character, what are we doing here? What are we doing, Geese? Okay. In classic Team Rocket fashion, Geese, what does Team Rocket do to Pikachu, who's standing outside their factory as they walk out?
Well, they try to... They fight.
They capture Pikachu in a net, and I'm so happy to keep hearing, after all these decades, Jesse yell, "Juddy boy," for both Go and Ash, a couple of Juddy boys, meaning brat boys, of course. And I'm also very happy to see that this series is still having fun, like Sun and Moon with their art style, because it's like a manga panel and she's like ripping through the panel, moving it in the art. You know what I'm talking about, Geese, right? Very sick. And then Go throws out his Pokemon to save Pikachu. Go Lucario. And Team Rocket throws out Pelipper because I guess they have a Pelipper friend who, I guess Pelipper is employed by all of Team Rocket. What I gather is that he goes around helping Team Rocket members in need by spitting out a Gachapon machine. So Pelipper drops out a Gachapon machine. It has Giovanni's face on it. And goodness gracious, Geese, there's a bunch of Team Rocket Pokeballs in the Gachapon machine. And Team Rocket grabs 2 of them. I guess they turn it. I don't think they have to put in any coins. But they get Slack Off and Slacking, the 2 laziest Pokemon in the world, Geese. All they like to do is sit there and sleep and snooze and lounge. They're very sleepy, Geese.
But Meowth explains that even though they're sleepy, they can build up energy.
If you sit there and let it wait a couple turns, it has one of the worst abilities in the game, in the sense that it just can't do anything for some turns or something, but it is very strong. That's Slacking. Little Slack Off, the little guy, he's not that strong, but he's cute. They yell, "Go, you Slack Off!" And then go Cinderace and Lucario from the kids. They throw some big giant explosion and Team Rocket's blasting off again. Pikachu jumps away. Geese, I'm going to need your help on this one. They're talking about somebody, what Team Rocket is. After they blast off, they have a little puppet of somebody. Do they say that person's name?
Yeah, Matori?
God, that sounds like a Japanese name. Okay.
That's the
Giovanni's
assistant. Yeah.
Okay, so we've seen this person before in one of these shows. Either the X and Y or the Sun and Moon. Okay. So somebody made a puppet of this person so they could make fun of her, is what's happening here. So Jesse grabs Pelipper's tail, and is it Pelipper that tries to give Team Rocket life lessons and relates it to Gacha? In terms of sometimes you get things you like, sometimes you get things you don't like. And Meowth is translating?
Why don't we ever get anything good from the prize master, they call it, that is in Pelipper's mouth?
Yeah, he's got a big mouth. He's a big giant pelican.
So they shake Pelipper. Let's ask you. And then, Meowth translates Pelipper, talking about how sometimes in life you're lucky, sometimes you're not. In English, they don't mention gachapons at all.
I love how much of a scholar Pelipper is. Just knows the ways of the world. So Team Rocket hatches a plan. They're going to go to headquarters to give somebody a piece of their mind. They're unhappy with Pelipper?
They're going to follow Pelipper and see who actually controls, like, the prize master.
Okay. We cut to them flying in a very cute Meowth balloon, hot air balloon behind Pelipper. Thank goodness the good faces are back. I was able to screenshot a few because we've been watching episodes where they hadn't learned to be silly with the animations yet. They hadn't learned to make images that are good for a thumbnail. But we're finally back. We have good faces in this season, and I for one am thrilled. Geese, who shows up to peck at the Team Rocket Meowth balloon? Yeah, it's a Swablu. Swablu, the Generation 3 very cute little bird who evolves into Altaria, for some reason has a big problem with Team Rocket because it pecks the hot air balloon and then uses Dragon Rage to destroy the hot air balloon and sends Team Rocket once again blasting off. Before it does that, Team Rocket says they're going to catch the Swablu to try to improve their luck.
Yeah, they said that like it's a sign of luck. So yeah, they'll
So I guess they
catch it.
fall into the water after this because they're swimming in the basket in the water while Pelipper swims because Pelipper's a water bird. And then Geese, they're eaten by a whale lord, which of course they were. Much like Pinocchio, much like, what is the story, Geese? Jonah and the whale? Is that the origin of somebody getting eaten by a whale stories? We see them holding on to a shipwreck inside of this whale. And Geese, who's already in the ship, in the whale lord.
What is the
Chatot?
oh well there's yes, and Pelipper, because they're still following Pelipper at this point.
Pelipper's inside the whale? Okay. Chatot is a very interesting Pokemon, Geese. It was introduced in Generation 4 on the DS. And on the DS, there was a microphone built into the system. So when you would use Chatot, you could record your own voice. And then whenever it used its attack, its signature attack, it would use your voice since it can mimic human speech.
That's fun.
Very cool. Turns out, Geese, this poor Chatot has been in this ship for ages. And I'll tell you, the ship looks like it's 1800s or something. So this Chatot must be absolutely ancient. I didn't know they
It
lived
looks
that
like
long.
it's like from the 50s.
Even the 50s. This poor Chatot, I don't know how it stayed alive. It somehow managed to pull it off.
Well, they could be using an old boat.
That's very true. That's like a big problem. I think people are better about it now.
About using old boats.
Now, when people would have like a period piece, okay, let's say this is set in 1955, right? Or let's give more reasonable. This is set in 1982. Okay, it may be people's first instinct to say, okay, let's put a bunch of 1982 cars all over the road. Well, the thing is, Geese, there's not going to be that many 1982 cars. Most of them are going to be like 70s cars. A smaller number are going to be from 1982. That's just how their world works. Geese is nodding politely. Team Rocket decides to come up with an idea of how to get out of this whale. And they say, well, I know what to do. Let's go back in Pelipper's mouth. Let's use his Gachapon some more. We'll get a Pokemon that'll get us out of this mess.
So they're trying to open Pelipper's mouth, and instead of accessing the prize master, a beam, like a laser, comes out of Pelipper's mouth.
Kind of looks like a hyper beam attack.
Yeah, and hits the inside of the Whale Lord's mouth, and the Whale Lord reacts by shooting Team Rocket and Pelipper and the song note bird out of its blowhole.
Oh, it's through the blowhole? Okay. Yeah, Pelipper did not want to give up the Gachapon machine, so instead it hyper beamed. And then Team Rocket chases after Pelipper, who Pelipper is, I guess, not pleased with him because he just keeps running away. Definitely doesn't want them to access the Gachapon anymore. Are they already in the snowy area from the whale that quick? Oh, because Whale Lord was probably traveling. Right. So Whale Lord swam all the way to snowy Santa Claus Island, you would imagine, if they're in Kanto. And Team Rocket encounters a Mamoswine, which is a big, giant Pokemon. Evolves from Piloswine, a big, woolly mammoth kind of Pokemon. And Geese, why don't you tell the Clambos how Team Rocket decides to utilize this Mamoswine?
So, Team Rocket ties up Meowth and uses Meowth as like the dangling carrot in front of the woolly mammoth.
Horse.
Yeah, for the woolly mammoth to move.
I don't know about the implications here. Does that Mamoswine want to eat Meowth?
I don't know.
I'm surprised they did that to poor
Maybe
Meowth.
it's like the anger and like wanting to attack Meowth that propels it forward. I don't know.
I guess so. Any way they use it for transportation and make it all the way to, is it a village or just a couple cabins in the snow? Either way,
Just
it
a
looks
couple
nice.
of cabins.
Couple cabins in the snow. They make it all the way. Oh no, Geese, they pass out in the snow. Are they gonna die, Geese?
Yeah, they died, and that's the end of the episode.
Man, that's so sad.
No,
Shouts out Team Rocket. Had a good run.
R.I.P.
They're dreaming of hot soup and they go out.
They fall, they collapse in the snow, and they wake up to a blazing fireplace. And they're all in this house, and they see a table full of delicious looking food.
A
And
feast.
They start gobbling.
And who shows up but Raticate and Geese? Do you remember this character? Because I remember this character from the original series.
No, I don't remember this character at all. Cassidy?
Yeah, Butch and Cassidy. You don't remember those guys? I'm sure a lot of Clambos out there remember them. Yeah, they were another group of Team Rocket people from the very early seasons. And it was lots of fun to see them again. Turns out they are doing different things with their lives these days, such as running little bed and breakfasts and bakeries and cabins in the snow, having the time of their life. And Geese, here we are again. I'm sad to say it. I'm sorry, Clambos, but we have a problem. The voice actor for Cassidy, Geese, she sounds like she's very elderly. And if you look at the character of Cassidy, she does not look very elderly. So it's just it's suspension of disbelief's kind of hard, Geese. How old does she sound in English?
She sounds like fine. She sounds like, Jesse's age. I don't know. But, like, it's interesting because not Cassidy, sorry. Butch, the male equivalent, has this, like, New York accent that sounds, like, so disconnected from what the character looks like. K-pop looking guy with, like, that K-pop haircut. It's so funny, like, this old man doing like a New York accent.
They do have interesting designs. Cassidy has these crazy spiky yellow twin tail anime things going on, and then she sounds like a geriatric old woman in a nursing home. Anywho, she's running a cafe now, and she does wood carving, and she enjoys her new life,
which we love,
which we are a big fan of, which we adore. Jesse says they're going to work off all this room and board and food she's provided for them, because Team Rocket loves their silly little jobs they do everywhere they go. They are very good at jobs, a lot of them.
In English, they say that they're going to pay back their, like...
generosity?
What's the word I want? Make it so that they're even, so that, like, there's nothing that, like, Cassidy or Butch can pull on them to say that
hold
they're,
against
like, not
them?
even. Yeah.
They don't like owing favors.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, they're going to make sure they're fair and squared up. Cassidy, we keep bringing up Butch. We're not going to see Butch until later in the episode. So Butch isn't here. It's just Cassidy running this cafe. She discusses how she ended up in this cabin after working and enjoying themselves. Oh, they have a conversation after they do some work and eat some more food. It's like a time jump. Team Rocket's sitting around, they're having a conversation, and Cassidy says, Team Rocket isn't all there is to life. Wait, I jumped ahead. Geese, who did they see in the sky? Who does Jesse, James, and Meowth see in the sky outside of the cabin, flying around?
Okay, yeah, they see Pelipper in the sky, and they remember that the whole reason for this journey is to follow Pelipper. So yeah, like Cassidy at this table while they're eating talks about how she quit Team Rocket because she was like sick and tired of like having to report all of these failures, which is what Team Rocket is also going through, which is why they had the puppet with Matori. Now I just run this cafe and do wood carving as a hobby.
They see Pelipper in the sky. Jesse says, let's run after it right now. But James says, well, wait, shouldn't we say goodbye to Cassidy? And then what does Jesse say to James, Geese?
She says, you don't have to come if you don't want to. I've noticed how you and Cassidy have been like flirting, and I've never seen you this happy.
Wait, they say flirting in English?
They don't say flirting.
Oh, okay.
They show the montage of them just with the blushing and everything.
Oh, in Japanese, it seems like it was more that he just likes wood carving. Not that he was into Cassidy.
Oh, really? That's funny. Before she starts crying, she just runs away.
Yeah, they have before anybody runs anywhere, they have what looks like to be a little handshake between Jesse and James, but then everybody puts their hands all in, Wobbuffet and Meowth, and it's very touching.
And I was like, is this the episode when Team Rocket is no longer? And I was like, no. Spoiler alert, it's not.
But yes, Jesse, Meowth, and Wobbuffet run into the forest, chasing off the Pelipper, and you can see Jesse's tears sparkling in the snow as she runs off into the distance and James stays behind. We cut to her finding a stone mural called Land's End. I guess at this point they lost track of Pelipper, I'm not sure. But everybody is starving. But Geese, what do they see? What do they smell, I should say? Exactly.
Yeah, they smell some nice bread.
Pan in Japanese and Spanish. It's an incredible bakery, Geese, and there's an adorable female Meowth that they mentioned a number of times in this episode. It reminds Meowth of Meowdonna. What was her name in English?
They don't say it. He just says an old flame of his.
Oh, Meowdanya in Japanese. Reminds it. I think this is the little girl Meowth that inspired Meowth to learn to speak English to impress her. I believe so. And oh my God, the Japanese version of the Pokemon anime is so good with funny screams. I laughed out loud, just like in the early series with Brock. But when Butch comes out of the bakery and sees Jessie, the way he screams, it's hysterical. I can't believe the guy can be that funny. And I can't imagine what it was in English, but I bet it was not hysterical and wonderful. So they eat Butch's bread and then get themselves in the exact same situation as the cabin before, Geese. They're going to work off the room and board like always. Which is funny because what's the point? James should have just stuck with him.
Yeah, it's implied that like the debt they're paying is from like an earlier thing and not them helping Team Rocket now. So I don't know what's going on there.
Loose ends being tied up in the anime. Very interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, Meowth's really into this little girl cat because she reminds him of Meowdanya. So when Jessie goes to run and chase Pelipper again, the exact same thing happens. And she says, Meowth, you can stay if you want. And he ends up staying. And then Jessie and Wobbuffet run off and she cries again. As she runs off, though, Meowth has the most adorable little Wobbuffet plush looking thing I've ever seen in my life. And he says he stayed up all night sewing it, but then he throws it to them. What was that, Geese?
Yeah, he spent all night making it, but it's not a plush. It's the actual balloon.
Yeah, it's a whole giant... now we got some more Pokemon technology, Capsule Corp technology, where this tiny little plush-looking thing turns into an enormous hot air balloon. So Wobbuffet and Jessie take the Wobbuffet hot air balloon off into the distance to follow Pelipper. And Geese, who shows up again? Who just hates hot air balloons?
Swablu.
Swablu goes to peck some more, does another Dragon Rage, and then they blow up again. And now, Geese, we arrive at the very introduction of the episode. It's just Wobbuffet and Jessie walking in the desert. They're gonna die, like several times this episode. And they pass out in the sand, Geese. And then what happens?
And then they die.
It's very sad and tragic.
No, Jessie is like, we have to keep going. We have to find Pelipper, even if it's just for spite at this point.
That's funny. She has a vision of something hitting them. She thinks it's James and Meowth coming to save her, but turns out it was just a little Sandshrew, but he was cute.
What's that thing? What's that Pokemon with the big jaw?
He's a Trapinch, and I love him.
And that, I guess, Trapinch makes this like vortex that's pulling Jessie in.
Yeah, he's like an antlion. So it's like it's a sinkhole, a sand sinkhole, and then he's going ar, 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 like he's going to eat him. But he's just a little baby Pokemon. That's not a fully evolved Poke. He evolves into Vibrava and then Flygon. I love that line of Pokemon. Generation 3. Jessie and Wobbuffet are about to die as they're sinking into the sand. And then Jessie repeats Pelipper's words, which are, to change your luck is to change your life. And then, Geese, she says they were unlucky until the bitter end. But then, Geese, what happened?
Meowth and James come and they save her.
They do end up coming to save her. Turns out things weren't working out too well. That girl Meowth was already dating a Persian, so Meowth didn't have any reason to stay there. And James's Morpeko ate all the food, so he got kicked out of his cabin. Here's the funny thing. James and Meowth are telling this story, explaining why they left to Jessie as she's still falling down into the sinkhole about to die. So she has to scream at them, details later.
Yeah.
And so I guess Pelipper's hanging around because somebody yells at Pelipper to go save Jessie. Is there an argument about Pelipper going on about, I'm only supposed to save Team Rocket members? And they say, well, this is the perfect opportunity to save a Team Rocket member.
Pelipper's like, no. But then when it looks pretty dire, Pelipper in the last minute scoops him up in his big old beak.
Well, Pelipper gives the excuse that he has too much in his mouth, he can't save her. So he spits the gachapon at Trapinch. And then he saves all of them. I guess at some point during this kerfuffle, James and Meowth, did they also start falling into the sinkhole?
Yeah.
Okay. So Pelipper spits the gachapon, puts them all in his mouth, and saves the day. Makes the analogy again about how life is like a gachapon. Sometimes you get good things, sometimes you get bad things. And oh my God, Geese, who shows up then? That's right, Geese, it's the Jotty Boys.
The twerps.
Yeah.
They're like
Ash and Go are sand
surfing.
Sand surfing. Just having the time of their lives, wearing little goggles. They got Beedrill and
Dragonite?
Yeah, Beedrill and Dragonite are just flying around, carrying them through the sand. They're just having the time of their life, having a great time. As soon as the twerps show up, Team Rocket does their intro. The intro in this season is so sick. It's just the coolest animation I've ever seen.
The music choice is so interesting in English because it's like country.
What?
Like modern country, like folk kind of country, pop country.
What is wrong with this stupid dub? In Japanese, it's just sick as all get out. And my guess is they don't say this in English, but in Japanese, they say the RO in Team Rocket stands for romanticism.
Nope, they don't say that.
I didn't think so. The song is so sick that they keep it going. So there's lyrics in this Team Rocket song that continues under the scene. So reading the subtitles was actually really difficult because there's all these words that are lyrics intermixed with the words that are the people speaking to one another. So the song keeps going in the background. Team Rocket says we're going to battle because they love getting blasted off again, evidently. Because Pikachu says Ash tells Pikachu 100,000 volts. And he attacks Team Rocket and they blast off again, but they got a big old smile on their face. And I think Go mentions that, right? Does he do that in English? He's like, why are they smiling? They get blasted.
Yeah.
And Geese, where do they end up after the big explosion?
Back at the Magikarp glue factory.
Whatever they put in those containers, I don't know. They land back in. Very sick. Well, that's the end of the episode. In Japanese, we get a very cute outro with Pikachu playing on the flute. And next episode of this series is all about Sophocles, so that's fun. That would have been a fun episode to watch, huh? Yeah, the episode after this episode is they go to Alola, or I don't know, maybe Sophocles visits them in Kanto or Johto. But yeah, it's all about Sophocles. Looks like a fun episode.
Aww.
Would have been cool to watch. Well, Clambos, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Pokemon on the St. Patrick's Day special, where the theme was luck is what you make of it, or something along those lines.
Have you ever had Irish soda bread?
I don't know what that is, and probably not, since I'm on my soda clause as well. Since I have not had a soda since 2012, I avoid things that contain soda as well.
I think the soda in it is baking soda.
Oh, interesting.
It's not very good. I don't know why people like it. I know that's a hot take.
Hot takes with Geese. Hot St. Patrick's Day takes with Geese.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I just got so cold out of nowhere. I love my Mega 64 tracksuit. And I have two of them because they sent me the wrong size. So now I have a regular large and a 2XL. Very sick.
Sick.
What was I going on about? You're talking about bread? Soda bread? I've never even heard of it. Geese, I do like, have you ever had, for St. Patrick's Day, green lemonade? Don't give me that face, Geese. They have it at Raising Cane's. Everybody loves Raising Cane's, especially Geese.
No, what is it?
Oh, it's just green food coloring. It's just lemonade. You held that face for so long, I thought the screen was frozen.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't think of this. What are your thoughts on shamrock shakes?
I like them. I've had a lot of problems lately, though. Or the last Shamrock. Ooh, that's a tough one to say. The last Shamrock Shake season, I had issues with them not putting in enough shamrock juice. And it would just be like very light, barely tiny light green. So mainly be a white shake with just a faint whiff of green. And those things are supposed to come out neon green, just absolutely wildly full of shamrock juice. But overall, I think they're pretty good.
I think they're disgusting.
Geese! Do you just not like mint things in general?
I don't really like mint ice cream or anything.
I love mint chocolate chip. The mint cheesecake at Cheesecake Factory can go where the sun don't shine, Geese, because it does not taste good. I hated that thing. And I always used to say that it tasted like toothpaste. But then other people would say, well, right, that's toothpaste tastes like mint. That's the whole idea. Is it's mint flavored toothpaste. Or you eat breath mints, they taste like mint. But unfortunately, that line of reasoning and logic doesn't work for me, because when I think about how it tastes like I'm just putting a jar of toothpaste in my mouth. I can't separate it, Geese. I'm sorry.
That's yucky.
But that's just that cheesecake. Other mint flavored things I think are delicious. Yum, yum, yum. Little dark chocolate mints. Remember we were talking about dark chocolate?
No.
You don't remember?
So I remember, I just don't like dark chocolate.
I know, that's what I'm saying, because you like milk chocolate. But I went out and bought dark chocolate because of our conversation. Yum, yum, yum.
Do you like Andes then, the candy?
Yeah, those are good. Those used to be so exciting when I was a kid. We'd go to Luby's, which is a Texas-based cafeteria. You go inside and you bring your little tray and you tell the nice lady what you want to eat, and they put it on your plate. For any of you Clambos who are not familiar with Texas, but maybe you've watched King of the Hill, Luby's is a part of that show. And in addition to that, one of the characters is named after the meal at Luby's. Her name is Luann Platter, and that is what it's called at Luby's. The regular meal is called a Luann Platter, so it's very amusing. Anywho, when I was a kid, it would always be very, very exciting at the end of the meal. We got to get the little mints because they were only 5 cents. And Geese, guess what happened when I was a little kid at Luby's?
What?
So at the end, this is like near where you get your drinks, but after you get all your food, they'd have little trays of Jell-O and it'd be real exciting. You'd grab them. But then also they'd have little trays of pickles. And it was so exciting to get my little pickle and put it on my plate and eat it. Geese, I grabbed it and I put it on my plate and I sat down, and keep in mind, I'm a little kid, a little boy, like 8 years old. And I take a big bite out of it. Geese, it wasn't a pickle at all. It was a big old jalapeno, and I thought I was going to die.
Oh.
It's so funny thinking back to that moment, because clearly, Geese, I'm going to need science with Geese on this one. Can you explain to me pain tolerance versus age? Because I adore spicy foods now, and to think me thinking I'm going to die because I took a bite of a jalapeno, that's so weird to me. Is it?
Well, it's something you build up. Like, so when you're a kid, you don't have that. Like, the more you eat spicy food, the more you, like, get used to it.
So I just had no tolerance for it. So it hurt me quite a bit.
Yeah.
Right. That seems like a pretty obvious question, but I do think about that from time to time. I know people say like people with red hair have a higher pain tolerance. In my experience, that is true. But I don't know what pain other people feel, which always is weird to me when people make fun of other people for thinking something hurts, because nobody has any idea how much pain the other person is feeling. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Pain tolerance is interesting. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Anyway, happy St. Patrick's Day. All right, Guyera, let's wrap up the show. I'm hungry.
I'm also hungry. We're really all out of St. Patrick's Day questions?
That was like the main ones.
I have not found a 4-leaf clover, and Geese, I have looked my darndest. So maybe one day.
I think I only found one once.
God, I used to stare in those clover fields, just looking forever. And
some
no, I'm
people
not
are just really good at finding them.
Guess they're lucky. And unfortunately, Geese, no, I'm not superstitious. I don't know if it's unfortunate or not. It's unfortunate because I can never get scared at a horror movie. But it is unfortunate in that there are so many people on this planet, intelligent people, people with their lives together, people with responsibilities that believe in supernatural things. And my mind, I don't know, my mind has a hard time with it. I just think, how can you be responsible for very important decisions, but you believe in like ghosts and magic and stuff? It's a hard thing for me to wrap my brain around. So I just try not to think about it. That the fact that people walk, and embarrassingly, when I was like 13 years old, God, I feel like I'm always repeating myself. But when I was like 13 years old, I super was into astrology and had like these books on like astrology and love. And
yes, I love this Guyera lore.
But I'm so embarrassed about that fact now. But I used to like, when I'd have a crush on somebody, I'd read about our star signs and be like,
oh my God, perfect. I love that.
Yeah, I was real dumb. Oh my God. I would even like let my dreams make decisions for me. Like something would happen in my dream. So I'd have to be like, oh, got to go pursue that person, break up with this person. Anyway, okay, well, let's go and do the wrap up, Geese. Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you to the Clambos.
If you would be so inclined, please follow us on social media at Look Listen Cast, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube.
The way Geese was building it up at first, I had no idea what to expect she was going to say.
Thank you, Keith, for our artwork. You can check Keith out at Keith Squared on twitch.tv/Keith Squared.
Geese's hungry breakdown. I'm also hungry. I only had the apples. I don't know why I'm sounding like I'm in a musical.
Thank you to all of our supporters. Guyera, can you please tell our dear listeners how they can support us?
Clambos, look, listen up. First of all, shout out Aaron for the boilerplate and website. Clambos, please go to looklistencast.com. You will find a link to anchor.fm. And guess what, Clambos, on anchor.fm, you can support us monthly, and it makes us feel very nice. Hey, Clambos, make sure to recommend this podcast to all your friends and family. That includes grandmas and young nieces, nephews, and cousins. Even siblings, honestly. Oh, we do have a question. Hold on. Artie Fine did us the great honor of great happy birthday, Artie Fine.
Yeah. I'm so mad at it. Say happy birthday on his birthday.
Of all people on this planet, he's going to be the most forgiving of something like that because of how wonderful a person he is. An angel from up above.
He's too good.
But Artie Fine graciously sent us a question for us to read on the podcast. Question podcast. Geese, would you like to read the question from Artie Fine?
Artie Fine asks, can you stop making the image bigger, please?
I'm trying to read it.
With the whole new generation of Pokemon making their debut very soon, I've been thinking about my favorite combinations of creatures, and in parentheses, and rocks, and lug nuts, etc. And considering what new kinds of things I would combine if I could design a new poke. What say you? What are a few creatures, plants, items you would combine if you could create a Pokemon for a new generation? Bonus question. What types would your new Pokemon be?
Geese, did you say the subject line of this? Because it's cute.
The subject line is, hello friends, buddies, paladins. Paladins. I would create a Pokemon that would be a bra. Like somehow designed from a bra.
You You would have to clasp it in front of you and then turn it around. Pokemon. You could have an ability like that. What type is it, Geese?
Fairy.
Just normal. Okay, fairy. A combination of things, right? Okay.
I'd also do like a purse Pokemon that like evolves from like a wallet into like a purse and then into a backpack and you could like wear it.
Ooh, a storage poke. That would be interesting. What is an underutilized typing that needs more
And
love?
the Pokemon would be called Jansport.
I don't think they could get away with that one, Geese. Oh my God. All Nintendo has to do, Pokemon Company International, all they have to do is buy Jansport. Then they can do it. That works out pretty well. Good thinking, Geese. Let's have some more Pokemon because we have like Drowsy and Hypno, and some other Pokemon can learn Dream Eater. We have like Darkrai. Let's have more Pokemon based on dreams. So I like the idea of like Ditto, but let's have a Pokemon based on dreams that appears differently to different Pokemon depending on what they're, let's say, afraid of or something. That would probably have to be a ghost type for sure. And then what would you, I guess you could make it based on a mirror. Ooh, that'd be interesting. Like a ghost mirror would be sick. And then what would happen is the poke would look into the mirror, but they wouldn't see a reflection of themselves. They'd see a reflection of something scary, and then it would pop out of the mirror and attack them. So the mirror would just hang out off to the side. That is my answer. Spooky, scary St. Patrick's Day mirror that creates nightmares. But they always look different because it's based on the Pokemon in front of it. But it's not a reflection, is the answer to the question. Thank you, Artie Fine, for your question on the St. Patrick's Day special. Geese, what would you like to leave the Clambos with as your St. Patrick's Day message on this holy of days? Is there anything religious with Saint Patrick?
I can't believe you just asked that.
I don't know what he did. What's he famous for?
He's a patron saint of Ireland. He banished the snakes off of Ireland and, it's just generally a guy.
Well, shouts out to getting rid of snakes. I'm all for him.
My St. Patrick's Day message is that the potato famine
was a hoax?
Did not have to kill so many Irish people, and that the British the entire time exported most of the food produced in Ireland to Britain instead of feeding the Irish population that was suffering. That is my Thanksgiving message.
Thanksgiving.
St. Patrick's Day.
We can't even keep track of our holidays anymore. I'll tell you the funniest thing about all that is we're so far ahead in holidays. It's not even Thanksgiving yet, even though we had Thanksgiving weeks ago. I wanted to plug in the computer.
I can't believe I didn't even talk about the fact that I've been to Ireland. Like, I
Geese,
feel like that was good. I've been to Ireland. There, I brought it up.
Geese, you can do a short anecdote.
My short anecdote was that when I was in Dublin, I went to a bar. The coolest bar experience I ever had because there was like actual Irish step dancers in there, and they were
like
dancing,
river dance?
Like Irish step dancing.
Yeah.
And we were talking to an old fisherman at the bar.
Did he give you a side quest?
Basically, he just told us to like live our lives, and it was just very cool.
Like a gachapon in the wind.
Also, nobody commented on my name, which is like an Irish, like a traditional Irish name, and I was really disappointed about it.
There was a good 1.3 seconds that I thought to myself, nobody commented on Geese, the traditional Irish name.
I have like my full name is like super duper Irish.
Oh, it's very
and,
Irish, yes.
Nobody.
It's the only way to pronounce
nobody
it.
Commented.
Irish and Italian. They make a
classic Catholic American, thing. Okay.
Clambo, she put her fingers together to signify the Irish and the Italian working together as one, combining into one force of nature. Geese, what are you going to eat? Oh, nothing good. Got excited.
I'm probably going to make some cheesy chips.
Ooh, those are good. Where you put the shredded cheese on top of tortilla chips and put it in the microwave. Very tasty. I would recommend putting jalapeno on the top as well. After you
I think it's funny that you think I have that.
No jalapenos for geese?
You think if I'm eating only like 2 food staples every day, like that I'm going to have jalapenos here? No.
I'll probably go eat some on sale chili cheeseburgers because I can taste again, and that'll be fun. I don't know if these chili cheese fries at Whataburger are going to be good, but I'll certainly try them. Don't forget, Geese.
I'm going to try them.
Yeah, excited. All right, Clambos, thank you for listening to our St. Patrick's Day special. Did we mention it enough that it's St. Patrick's Day? We should mention it more because I feel like sometimes we say it maybe once, the holiday of the week. Everyone, please enjoy your food and be grateful in knowing not everyone out there gets delicious food. Some people, like Geese, have to suffer day in, day out, every day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Howdy, y'all. It's me, Geese. Thank you for listening to the Geese Productions podcast.
Geese Enterprises, doing business as Peep Industries, together with its subsidiaries, is a diversified worldwide entertainment company with operations in media networks, talent management, parks and resorts, multimedia entertainment, and consumer products and interactive media. Geese Enterprises is a Dow 30 company.